Well, hello everybody and welcome back once again to my small farm channel. I told you the other day I wanted to get that cultivator out and try doing a little bit of landscaping back by the long shed where I want to put that chicken coop. Now, kind of gotten started doing this by hand. It looks like there's going to be a little bit of a tractor pull at the beginning of all this, and then we can, well, get to trying to lay the land a little more level here. So let me show you what's going on first and we'll get started. So there are a lot of things coming up out of the ground, bricks and bits of foundation. I found this chunk of lumber well and truly embedded into the ground, but it was at such a point that the lawnmower kind of couldn't drive over it, so it was already problematic. And then I'm looking at it, and the end of this thing is secured by this rather hefty pipe. Now I already pulled one out the other end, I'll show you that in a second, but this one here, I've been bashing it with that board, I've been bashing it with a rock. This doesn't want to move, but when I get a little vibration out of it, it's almost like it's moving something down here that it may still be attached to. So we're going to try and hook the chain up to the yard tractor, the lawnmower there, and pull this out. And then we're just going to try and level this whole space up because, you know, there's a kind of weird little dip here. There's a couple of bricks I found here. This whole area is just very bumpy, nasty, very hard pack earth. Like, I don't know how well it's showing up in the camera here, but this is very, very hard packed. And like I'm saying, it's hills and valleys all over the place. So, hopefully, that little weird construction cultivator harrow thingy that I've got for my lawnmower will be able to help clean this up at least a little tiny bit. Really only one way to find out though. So, let's get started and pull that thing out and see if we can pull that thing out. Okay, well it seems I had to try all 4 holes in this thing to find one that this would actually fit through. We're on there fairly snug. We're on here fairly snug. This is about to get loud, but if you haven't figured out that that happens on my farm channel, well, must be your first video. Alright, so bear with me. Here we go. Lawnmower versus random post stuck in the ground in my way. Alright, well that is definitely stuck on there real dang good. Moved it around a bit. I'm clearly going to have to dig this out, which, I'm going to be honest, doesn't thrill me. But I'll throw the shovel at this, try again with the lawnmower, see if we can move it that way, and if not, I guess I just have to work around the darn thing. Okay, so that looks like some sort of treated wood, some sort of lumber in here. I'm thinking this is definitely attached to something. Got no idea what I'm going to find. Feels like backyard archaeology some days. Alrighty then. Seems to be attached to a board going this way. Let me grab the camera and I'll show you that. Hopefully this is showing up on the camera, but I mean, clearly Here we have yet another layer of some sort of foundation board. What is this? Another massive chunk of glass. So much glass on this land. Nice rock. Take that out for shocks, but we'll see if this moves any better now that I've revealed that chunk of timber there. I might just have to grab the angle grinder, take this off below ground level and bury it back up again. We'll see. Little pile of all the broken bits of glass I've found on this half acre just in the last couple of months. Basically every day we got to sweep this place like an aircraft carrier looking for glass. Don't want the dog stepping on it, and I'm barefoot. I don't want to step on it either. Okay, so I'm going to throw the camera back on the tripod here, fire up that lawnmower, and hopefully get it out of there. Like I said, if it doesn't work, it's always an angle grinder. Yeah, so here we go. No, don't be like that. And it killed the battery. Nope, didn't kill the battery, just got to tighten those cables a little better. Here we go again. On two. Well, I think it's safe to say the tractor, the lawnmower here, has some oomph. It's digging some nice holes in here, but it is not doing anything to take care of this. I'm going to get the angle grinder, and then we're going to come back and actually play with the cultivator, which was the plan for today. Alright, well, thanks for the grinder, buddy. I seem to have misplaced my safety equipment, but it does work fairly well. I'm going to throw some water at this just because we threw so many sparks at it, and we're going to start covering this back up But I'm taking that rock too. Well, ain't nothing gonna burn in a puddle like that. Alright, back to the original plan. Okay, so now that we're connected back to the lawnmower, I figured I'd just show you really quickly well, how poorly those decking screws and nails have fared. I am gonna have to grab those lug nuts or whatever, not lug nuts, lag bolts, that's it, that I was thinking about. They're, you know, considerably wider than that. They're, I don't know, I'd say almost half an inch wide. Very solid, very long. Hopefully those will work better, but I am hoping that these will work for just kind of a little bit of cleanup and leveling because of all the stupid holes back here, and well, now the great big hole right there. So, see what we can do. Oh yes, and I was going to show you that other pole that I pulled out from the other end by the long shed. This thing is, well, up past my knee, almost to my waist. Rather a lengthy bit of ordnance. Well, here it goes, nothing. Really, you can do it to me again? Alright, so I can't say that this is really doing anything for me that I couldn't have done with a good iron rake in about the same amount of time. Where the soil was tossed up from digging my hole, it did do a pretty good job of evening that out. Unfortunately, I seem to have brought up an earthworm, poor fella. Kind of filled in that one brick hole there. Did that walking up and down today. Not really doing a lot for filling this in. And like I say, I think I could probably do it faster with a rake. So, as it sits, I'm going to say this didn't work for me. This thing kind of works for me in the fact that it kills a little time and it was a fun backyard project. But let's face it, I don't think it's going to do the trick for what I need when it comes to ripping up sod, leveling land, or anything like that. At least not how it is. Whoopsie. I'm going to look around, see how many of those lag bolts I can find, and then maybe with something sturdier in here, it'll do the trick. Now that said, no weight in there today. So that's probably affecting things too. Oh. Alright, well, we'll try one last go. I'll line this up, I'll put some weight on it, and we'll see if I can clean any of this up a little bit better with that weight. I'm not holding my breath though. Alright, loud and proud, right? Here's one more go at it, I guess. Well, that's certainly more fun than it would have been doing it by hand, but still, I haven't brought it around the compost. It did level this out a little bit. Kind of a bit too tight, excuse me, to turn the lawnmower in here, but I did manage to figure that out-ish. Coming down here where you guys were just kind of watching, as we go through, excuse me, hiccups. As we go through, we can see it did kind of level this off a little bit, so that's nice. Shouldn't be anywhere near as abrupt when grasses grow back in. Did kind of fill in our hole from that post, buried it at least, and the rest of this I probably could have taken care of if I just moved the pallet and the camera. Would have had some better runs at that, so I might just do that off camera, as it were. This part here, now this was tricky. Figuring out how exactly to make it through these trees and around all the debris. And this corner here, I never did quite figure out how to make this corner. I got to stop and lift the little harrow cultivator thing, get around that. But coming back up, so I have no idea how much of that you will have actually seen from where the camera was positioned. But with weight, it does work better. Now what is this that I just found? Battery cap cover? Alright everybody, well thank you so much for joining me as I take this kick at the cultivator, as it were, trying to figure out if I can actually use this to level up any land. I think the idea is sound, but the actual device could use some improvement. I think the lawnmower is doing an exemplary job of hauling this thing around, so it's definitely living up to the expectations of a free riding mower, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, anyway, like I said in a previous video, if it can handle hauling those logs and chunks of concrete around for weight, then this thing will be able to handle hauling around that minimal till seed drill that I'm going to figure out for it, and probably a few other devices that I've got in mind. So on that note, the wind is picking up, and I want to get this done before the rain comes down, because this lawnmower should not be out in the rain. So thank y'all very much for joining me. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.